Good morning, everybody. My name is Reverend John Braley, and today I want to share a personal story with you on what it's like to take care of a parent, um, and what our duty is, and what the commandments um, tell us about to honor thy father and thy mother. This is very important for everybody to understand. Honor your father and mother so that you may have long life in the land of the Lord. Your God is giving you Exodus 20:12. That there for me is a very personal journey because I have been taking care of my mother for the past 8 years consistently. And it is very hard to take care of another human being. I mean, anybody who's walked in those shoes and knows what I'm about to talk about. It's honorable. It's it's rewarding to be with your parent and knowing that you've done all you could for them. With my mother, she's been on hospice several times. She's off hospice now. She's on a home health care. And there was times that, I thought that, she'd come back from the hospital after taking her there. And she wasn't responsive when we brought her back. We brought her back by ambulance, carried her in and put her in her bed. And there was a time that this is it. She's going to go. And at that particular time, my faith was shaken because this is my mother. How can you do this woman who's been a loyal and faithful servant to you? And even though everybody has their doubts about things. I don't want to doubt God or Jesus Christ, but we all sometimes do that when we are faced with the reality of losing a loved one. And that's the hardest part for anybody, to lose it, because it can be unexpected. It can be, and for me, the personal story is I was never raised with my mother. I was raised by my grandmother, my grandparents, or my step-grandfather, and my grandmother. I never knew my father, and things had gone on in my life that I still stay connected to my mother, but I was never raised with her to know her, what her values were, what her as a human being would be. And when I came into the picture, I had received a call that my mother was, acting pretty strange. She was a member of a church, and they had concerns about her chosen boyfriend at the time. Told me that she's been going in and out of the hospitals being tested for strychnine or arsenic poisoning because she felt that was happening to her. So when I came into the picture in 2013, that's where the hard journey began, because I was not expecting what everybody was talking about, nor was I expecting to see my mother, who I cherished and I love, in this horrible situation. Um, she was diagnosed as a paranoid schizophrenic, um, and that's the hardest part with dealing with a parent when mental illness is into their life. It does take a toll on them, and it does take a toll on the person, the caregiver, which would be me. It is a very hard journey. No son wants to put their mother into a facility to get her med compliant. No child wants to do this to their parent. They want them to be the parent that they thought they saw growing up. Mental illness is a very, very hard road to take when you are um, helping a parent. And I know in my case, my mother, she's a sweetheart, and I love her to death. But my mom would run out the door. If you mentioned the shower, she'd run out the door. And me and my brother, who, when he was here helping, we'd have to go get her, coax her back in, and then literally have to tackle her to the bed to get her clothes off and get her in the shower. The things that had happened during these times, I mean, it may sound horrific, it may sound mean, but the story is my mother would never take a shower unless she was forced to do it. And the illness that the schizophrenia took such a strong hold on her. It was too much at times. Getting her to the psychiatrist, getting her to do different things was hard. And there were times I had to get her to the hospital, and they would, 5150 her. That is so hard for a son to have to go through, and especially the parent too, the individual. There are times that she's been to so many different institutions to become med compliant, because at one time my mother would go to the hospital, eat everything there, and tell us, "Hey Johnny, can you go ahead and bring me some food from home? I'm still hungry." And I get there and the doctor's like, "Well, she's eating." I said, "I understand that, but the thing is, when she comes here, when she's at home, she won't eat, she won't drink water." Because the one simple thing is that she had overheard me and the doctor talk, telling me, "You have to get her pills into her some way, somehow. Whether you have to put it in her food, whatever you have to do." Well, my mom has bionic hearing. Seriously, bionic hearing. And she heard this. And so when she came back home, she refused to eat. There were times, and this may sound horrific, but there were times I had to force her to eat by literally putting the food in her mouth, by forcing it in. Okay? That's not the way a son should be treating their mother. But it was not done in malice. It was done because she needed food. For months, every other day, I was in the hospital. They know, where we go to the hospital to take her, they know us. We are celebrities in this hospital because of constantly going there all the time. And they know, she has one doctor that we always see when we go to the emergency room. He knows us on a first name basis. We've become friends. But he told me, he says, "I understand what you're going through, because I have a parent myself that's in the same similar situation." It is so hard, for the longest time, I still believe in the fact that to honor thy mother and thy father. But since I don't know my father, so I don't know how to honor him, because I never knew what type of person he was. I just now recently got a hold of my dad's family, and we connected through, of all places, Facebook. through my cousin, and